Good morning, everyone. My name is Yi Pen. Today, I would like to present the Journalistic Ethic and Issues Assessment 1 Stanford Rape Case Study. Sexual assault is a very common crime in society. However, it is also the less reported crime in the media since the victims are feared or shamed to share what they have been through. News reporting has a significant impact on helping people to shape a good understanding on sexual violence, but it also facing the ethical dilemma whether the media should avoid the gender-based issues on the reporting while still serve the public interest. This presentation will use the Stanford case as the main case to first point out two specific gender-based issues that broke the NEAA Journalistic Code of Ethics. It will then illustrate three different ethical theories that relevant with the ethical dilemma, including teleologies, the veil of ignorance, and the golden mean. The Stanford rape case is about Brock Allen Turner, who was a student athlete at Stanford University and sexually assaulted a 22-year-old woman after they attempted to a party at the Kappa Alpha fraternity in 2015. Turner was accused of 3 counts of sexual offenses, but only sentenced to 6 months. The public criticized the judge as the bias in favor of white men and privilege of the classes. The victim's statements was also widely spread in the international media, which led to a broad discussions about the sexual violence on American campus. In the Stanford case, media reports largely emphasized on the gender-based issues, such as the victim blaming. On the other hand, reports also tended to show compassion to the criminal by highlighting Turner as a Stanford swimmer who has a bright and glorious future. These issues break the code of ethics in NEAA, which is unnecessarily emphasized on the personal characteristic and gender. Victim blaming refers to media indirectly attribute blame on assigned responsibility for violence against women. According to Australia on Media Representation of Violence Against Women in 2016, 16% of sexual assault reports indicated women has placed themselves at risk, such as having drunk or flirting behaviors. In Stanford case, most of the media frequently emphasized the victim as an unconscious woman who had been intoxicated and could not remember the assault. In Washington Post, an article named All American Swimmer Found Guilty of Sexually Assaulting an Unconscious Woman on Stanford Campus illustrated with indirect executions, such as the victim was so intoxicated at the time. Her blood alcohol level was more than 3 times of legal drinking limit. Moreover, it is also pointed out a woman's testimony that the victim acted silly at the party. Another reporting issue that was widely criticized by the public is the global media failed to identify Turner as a raper instead of referring him as a baby-faced Stanford swimmer. According to Simond, Turner's media privilege treatment was not only because he was a white and promoting athlete, but also because the rape methodology in the media prevented women's rights. Australia's National Research Organisation for Women's Safety said that there is 40.8% of the news reports included information to ease or excuse men. Most of the sexual violence cases are not only about the sex, but also a violent crimes about the control and the power. Therefore, if the media as the most influential method to resolve this sexual violence, not giving enough help to the victims, it would not only fail to guide audiences to have the right attitude on the sexual violence, but also reduce the power of the victim to seek the justice. The theoretical study on journalistic ethics helped journalists to choose what should they do, but not only limited in what is right or wrong. To discuss journalists and media should take more responsibility for helping victims to justify sexual assault crime, it is important for them to develop a depth understanding on the theoretical framework. The first theory that relevant to the sexual assault reports is the teleology framework. It is usually guiding the media to direct people to know and understand all possible consequences, and it also well known as the public's right to know. It is important for journalists to follow the theories since the consequences to people could be serious. However, in many sexual assault reports, the framework is not always helpful to the victims and the public, because if the media is focusing too much on the sexual-based content, it will lead the audience to the wrong directions and also make the victims suffer more. For instance, in Stanford case, most media believe that to cover both the victim's drunken behaviors and the criminal's characteristics help people to understand the incident from more perspective. But the report's behavior actually indirectly encouraged the public to develop compassion for the perpetrator while presenting the victim as an irresponsible drunk girl. Another example is the #JadaPost case. This case is about social media users turning a campus sexual assault incident into a popular sex teen meme. A large number of the media focusing on the social media bullying and highlighted the victims was intoxicated by the alcohol and drugs instead of focusing on the crime and the perpetrators. This case reveals how media inappropriately follow the public's right to know on a sexual assault case while ignoring the fundamental facts of the sexual violence. Another important theory is the veil of ignorance. This theory is supposed to eliminate gender-based execution and other bias in society to achieve the true fairness. However, according to Berkeley Media Study Group, the criminal justice dominate news coverage of sexual abuse, which means the authorities is restricting the media. For instance, in the murder case of Reduce Dixon, the press release said the victims should be more aware of their personal security, which widely be criticized, accusing the victim blaming. Therefore, when the gender-based blaming is existing in the police office or the court, it is unavoidable for the media to publish the gender-based content in their reports. If the media are trying to eliminate all potential gender-based content, they will lose the most important sources of credibility. To combining two theories above, the ideal framework that can apply on sexual assault reports is to keep the balance between doing too much and doing too little, which journalists should apply the principle of the golden mean. On the one hand, journalists should balance the public's right to know and not inflaming the public. For instance, in the Barry Banner child abuse case in the United Kingdom, although some of the victims are active football stars who stood up to review the sexual violence, but the media mainly focus on the crime and sentences itself, but not on the gossip and the personal life of the victims. On the other hand, the media should communicate with authorities for the benefits of victims when they react to sexual violence cases. Comparing a sexual assault case in Melbourne to the Dixon murder case, the press release and media reports said everybody have a right to go about living their lives safely, which shift the focus from the victim's behavior to the man's responsibility. Therefore, the golden mean is where the most media organization and journalists should be. To summarize, whether the media directly or indirectly present the victim blaming and characteristic, it will not change the criminal facts of sexual violence. When the media overemphasizing neither the victims or the perpetrator, it is tending to suggest that the women have a past while a man has a potential, which enhances the power of the rape culture. Therefore, it is essential for the media to develop a depth understanding on the ethical dilemmas that appears on the sexual assault cases and have a firm attitude to discontinue the violence against women in the reporting, because the reflection of the median has a significant impact on how the public reacts on such crimes. Thank you for watching.